Hello, this is the first video for Project 5. In this video we're going to, or in this series, this project, we're going to work on capital budgeting, and I'm going to introduce you to a couple of different methods for capital budgeting, as well as some Excel applications that hopefully you'll find interesting. Just real quickly, before I became a professor, I was a director of engineering for a $5 billion automotive parts supplier, so I did quite a bit of capital budgeting. My largest capital budget was a $180 million new facility in Sarnia, Canada. So I do have some very practical experience in this particular area. Anyway, as we've done before, we're going to go to the base Excel files. We're looking for Project 5 CapEx budget. And then, as always, we just open the file. There we go. We'll enable the editing and enable the content. And then click to start the process. Enter your name. And then, of course, your 800 number. Okay. So on our desktop, we now have our CapEx base file, and I'm going to go ahead and move that off to my jump drive right away, so that as I do my work and save my work, it doesn't get saved on the desktop, it gets saved on my jump drive, so it doesn't get deleted every day. I'll just take out that original one too. Alright, so let's go ahead and open the file. So the first thing I need is to get my sales forecast data again. And I'm going to go back to my original sales forecast. So one of the points I want to make here, and I mentioned several times that you can link your Excel files together, but if you update one Excel file, it may take a long time because Excel, because of the linking, is then going to update all the other Excel files, which becomes problematic. It takes a lot of computer time, accidents happen. It's kind of a neat idea, but a lot of times in practice it doesn't work very well. But at the same time, even though I've created copies of my sales data and other Excel spreadsheets, I always come back to the original spreadsheet and the original regression file. And that way, if I've updated it and forgot about it, or a lot of times you're working in teams, so a team member may update the forecast for whatever reason. So by always going back to the original file, you're getting the most up-to-date data. So we're just going to go click here to highlight everything, Control-C to copy, come over to our CapEx, and then we're going to go to our paste, and we want the numbers in the formatting. Okay. So here's the base data that's coming out to me, and some of it I don't need for this particular project. So when I don't need something, I usually will go ahead and delete it, simply because you want things to be as uncluttered as possible. So in this case, I don't want my actual sales data, and I don't want my X's here, but I do want the year. So all I'm going to do is just kind of highlight across, right click, and hit the delete key. I don't need my X minus XM. I don't need the error. I'm going to highlight those two guys and go ahead and delete again. I will keep the high limit, low limit just as a reference point. Now in addition, we're dealing with forecast data at this point, right? It's 2014 was my last year of real sales data in mine. You'll need to know what the last year of real sales data is yours for future use of these videos, as I've mentioned multiple times. So I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to delete everything from 2014. Now if I just delete like this, it's going to leave me a bunch of empty space, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is instead highlight the rows down to 2014. And now when I delete them, everything adjusts up. So that's good. All right, I'll just go ahead and wrap the text on these guys and center it, keep things nice and good. And my best regression again was the change of slope regression, so that's the one that I'm using here. So the next thing we need is the percentage change in sales over time based on my forecast sales numbers. I don't need it for 2015 because you're going to be given the raw data to work with. And you'll see that in the next video. So I'm going to do a percent sales change. And then I'm going to do a percent error, and I'll show you how this works as well. So the percent sales change is simply equal to my forecast sale in 2016 or 1 year ahead. We just start with a parenthesis. So it's next minus previous quantity, and then we're going to divide that by the previous quantity. And I'm going to make that a percentage and add 2 decimal places to it. Now the error, this would be relative to the standard error here from the regression. Now the actual error, when you convert this standard error into a percentage standard error, is kind of a complex process. On the other hand, if we just say that the percent error is equal to the standard error divided by the estimate, we end up getting a really, really close number. So instead of going through a lot of work to get a number that's almost this, we might as well just use this number. So this happens a lot of times in finance and in statistics. We're always dealing with estimates, and this is just an easy way to get the estimate without a lot of work and pretty functional. Now our capital project is going to be based on 10 years starting in 2015. So the first year of your first forecast year. So for me it's 2015. For future periods it may be something other than 2015. So this is all the data that we need, and I'm going to go ahead and drag down here. I don't need this last one. I'm going to leave all my other forecast data because you always want to be as flexible as possible when you're developing a capital budget because things change as you go through the capital budget. So the time span may increase from 10 years to 15 years. It may decrease. The project may be put on hold. So instead of doing it in 2015, we end up doing it in 2020. I just come back to my original spreadsheets, update a few numbers, and everything's good to go. So that's the basic process that we're going to go through. And this is the first step. The next step, we're going to come over here to our base capital budgeting. We're actually going to generate 3 capital budgets. One is using just a basic method. The second one is what's known as capacity balancing. Then we're going to insert a tab here and create a third one, which is called demand optimization. And then we'll complete the project. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, and we'll go on to the next step. And in that step, we're going to start by showing you where to get your basic information. Thank you very much. Goodbye.